G'day everybody. Right, the bit of a personal one, this one. In the recent week or so, my mother and father have had a bit of a domestic down in Timaru, and apparently it's all over a can of fly spray, which is ridiculous at their age, but nonetheless, what happened was I was rung up by Constable Miriam McCabe down in Timaru, from the family violence or family harm team. And I'll let you listen to her call. Good morning.
Hi, is that Mark King?
Who's speaking?
It's Miriam here from the Timaru Family Harm Team. How are you?
Yeah.
Good. Hey, listen, do you have a moment to talk?
Of course.
Cool. Hey, I'm just calling about your father.
Mm-hmm.
There's been an incident overnight where he struck you with a walking stick and potentially broken her arm.
Oh, what the hell? Yeah.
Yeah, so police attended. It was fairly volatile and his behaviour was absolutely disgusting.
For him.
Yeah, police were looking at arresting him, but due to his health, they decided to leave him at the address and have taken Judith to a safe house in refuge.
Which is my sister's?
Pardon?
Is that my sister's?
No, at a safe house at Women's Refuge in town.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's what happened last night. I'm just doing some follow-up today. I just read, my colleague Paul Hampton had spoken to you about potentially getting him put into care.
Right.
Getting some sort of reassessment done where he's potentially removed from the house, which would be great. What are your thoughts on that? Is there anything you can do to assist with that, or?
What do you mean? How am I able to assist that?
Well, being his son, is there any way that you can speak to parties involved and potentially get him assessed and put into care?
So,
okay.
I'm very much more in the same mindset as my sister.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've talked to me or not.
Not yet, no. But I have spoken to her before,
Yeah. That and being in Auckland, I'm miles away, so...
yeah, okay.
Not that it's been keeping me informed constantly, and we actually came to the conclusion that some of it was actually Mum as well, I think. She's battered woman syndrome. We keep telling her, you need to say you can't cope, you need to ask for help, but she never will. And I think...
Yeah, well, we've had that problem with her before. She hasn't been really on board, but I think it's come to a point now where we just need to do something alright. Take some further action. So what I'll do is I'll give Jordan a call.
She's gone around there and tried to help, and I think she's actually made some progress talking to Dad. She last couple of times I've talked, this is where we've come to the conclusion that perhaps Dad is getting frustrated with Mum because of the way, Mum will drive into town just to get a loaf of bread, for instance. The mentality behind that. And then after the car crash, now he's stuck at home. So I was expecting something to explode. And Paul did say, as long as Mum walks clear of his radius of the walking stick. And I thought,
so that's never going to be foolproof. And the fact is, given the age, she's now got a broken arm. She's now got a broken arm. She's now got a broken arm. I mean, what if she's in a position where she's trapped in a corner and he absolutely,
I wish they would just sell the damn farm and Mum just go and enjoy the last few years of her life.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay. So, is he an alcoholic? Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, he's always drunk an apple cider and had his home brew and his...
Yeah.
So, said that he's quit smoking and cut down on the beer, but you know, it's like a double-edged sword. Mum will always still buy him the alcohol,
Yeah.
so you can't win. You know, they're a product of their own environment, the way they've lived for so long. So, I mean, I'm happy to support pretty much whatever he decides on that front. Our other brother is out of the picture.
Okay, alright. In terms of his health conditions, do you know sort of definitively what they are? Or it's just hard to sort of work out when you come in?
No.
Okay, right.
I haven't been down in Timaru since 2008, so it's been 12 years since I've been down there and seen them. I'll either generally get a phone call from my sister telling me the latest dramas that happened, or Mum asking me for money so she can go and buy Kino. And I don't really talk to Dad other than happy birthday, happy Merry Christmas type things, and that's it.
Yeah, okay.
So,
That's all good?
Yeah.
Okay. What I'll do is I'll give it a call and see how I can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, alright, well thanks for your time, and I'll
Okay. Please keep me updated if there's anything I can do, or if I'm needed to come down, you know, I'll do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, all good. Alright.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers. Alright.
But she basically states that she's, you know, comments on Dad's disgusting behaviour. She states that Dad has, first of all, potentially, and then she finishes off with saying that he had broken my mother's arm with his walking stick, which isn't exactly what happened. He only gave her a light tap on the wrist. He thought she was going to hit him. Self-defense, end of the story. Now, my father has a fused hip, so he can't get into the normal back of a police car. He was arrested but left at home, and they decided to remove my mother. Now, they live in a 16-acre farm. Mum's pretty much doing everything down there, and also Dad's primary carer. What's been come to light since then is quite a shocking story, but needless to say, Dad hasn't really been getting looked after. But what stunned me the most is that they took my mother off to women's refuge and told her she couldn't leave there, so she was refused her liberty to actually bugger off and go and stay at my sister's place, which she has been doing and sleeping on the couch apparently, although I'm hearing stories that Mum is saying otherwise. So there's always two sides to every argument, just like there's two sides to every coin, but the truth is usually the third side, which is the edge of the coin. So coins have three sides, and yeah, it's usually between the two stories as you find the truth. There's somewhere in between. Now, Dad was lying in bed on a CPAP machine for his breathing, and also had a catheter, so he had hardly had any intent whatsoever to commit assault when he's that disabled. The police decided to go rummaging through my father's paperwork on the table, so they unlawfully searched. And yeah, Miriam called me up and caused quite a bit of distress to me, because now I'm thinking my mother's got a broken arm. You can hear Mum's call after that, which is her saying no, she's just got a badly bruised wrist. There was nothing more to it.
Morning.
Hi, how are you?
Sorry.
I don't mean to run you this hour of the day. I'm just sitting up at Rex and Evelyn's at the moment. I've been sitting in the car all day yesterday virtually. I don't know what the hell to do anymore. I can't do anything. At home, it told me just now I had to ring up to say I've got the key at the house, and there's only one key. So, and then after fly spray, I asked them whether I had it for a spider up on the roof of the kitchen, and just the bloody went out and snapped me across the head. My walking stick. My hand went all blown up.
So is your arm broken or not? Because
No.
Cop Miriam chick ring me up yesterday and tell me that Dad had broken your arm.
No, it's not broken. It's not broken. It's just on the wrist and on the left side.
So why is the cop fucking bullshitting me then?
Don't know. It's not broken. Because they did an X-ray on them at 1 o'clock in the morning, and it's definitely not broken.
If it's a suspected break, the first thing they do is X-ray it, and then you know one way or the other if it's broken or fractured or...
Yeah, well, a young woman came in when I was sitting on the chair in the hospital, and she checked it out. She said, no, everything seems to be fine, it's just badly bruised. Like, it's got right down to my fingers and up my arm about the bruise. And it was on the top of my, sort of on the side of my hand. My hand's not even sore. Not sore, it's just, and they put a thing over it to stop the, make it go down in the size of it, because it was up about 2 inches up on the ear. But when the doctor's nurse rang last week and said his kidneys completely failed, and that was last Wednesday, and they wanted him to go to the hospital. Apparently Jordan just told me this morning he was going on the 7th. Someone rang from the hospital, or doctor or something, he's going to go to the 7th. But I didn't know anything about it until now. But anyway, lo and behold, all they kept saying was he's got to go and see a doctor at the hospital on the 7th. And I'd always taken him to the hospital quite often. I even pushed him in a wheelchair in there. It's all changed around in there now. But unbelievable. He's still 72 in February. But he always reckons he's told other people he won't be alive by then because of his health. And he's out of bed all the time. Even when he goes in from the car at home and to inside, he's just on the chair just outside. I've got to open all the doors so he can go in, and even the front doors to let the air in. And I've got to turn the machine on to let the air through and all that. But there's one in the bedroom, he has the thing on his head, but he has this other one for
PET things?
Yeah, I think he has one from Christchurch Hospital. He's had it for a long time. But anyway, there's another thing that he has, a spray out thing that turns for the ear. And he has that turned on every night, and if I was in bed, it was going straight in my face. And I told him, well, it's buggering my eyes up a wee bit doing that, with the ear coming through when you turn to the... Yeah. I walk past and shake my head, are you okay? And I went to the doctor last week, he said, you're okay. And he wanted to know how I got on. And I told him, he read it and everything. On my joints around my neck.
What did you do to your neck?
Yeah, the joints are like, what do you call it? It's giving me two big things to read about it. It's sitting on the table. I haven't had time to even read it.
Sounds like you've got time now.
Yeah, and I'm all out and sitting on the table. I can't go inside and get it.
To get it for you or something.
Oh no, we'll see what happens after today. I don't know.
Today will just be a bail hearing.
Eh?
Today will just be a bail hearing.
Yeah.
Because the police can only bail people for 7 days, which is my guess is why he's got to be there for days.
Yeah, apparently he's got to be there at 8:30. Well, he's never even got out of bed until 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning.
Well, that's standard practice with police bail.
Yeah, I know. He's been treated 2 o'clock.
Why they make it at 8:30 in the morning is ridiculous, considering they don't even start fucking court proceedings usually until 10.
Oh. Yeah, well, I always thought it was at 10 o'clock. And anyway, so, and he's
they do start presiding about 9 o'clock in the mornings, but it used to be fucking always 10.
And I told the policeman, I said, he's got a lot going on with his health. And I said, all day, Sunday, he was screaming with pain and and this stomach. And I noticed his blood. And I don't know what I can't do anymore. I was trying to stop him.
There's nothing you can do, really, is there?
No, I don't know.
Product of the environment.
Yeah, I don't know. don't know. I'm pretty scared.
Well,
I'm pretty upset.
it depends on what the judge does today with the bail conditions.
Yeah.
Because you can have an application to have the bail conditions changed so you can go back on the property, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty much certain that, I mean, it's up to the police to say yay or nay to that.
I was speaking to Lynn Belsham, and anyway, she said to me, she said they should put him in a hospital or somewhere so he can be checked out all the time. Because she was a nurse herself, and she said that the hospital, in my opinion, is she classed a pushing around. That's what she told me last night. But she said he should be in a hospital area that they can check him all the time.
It's called an assisted care facility.
Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah.
No,
Anyway,
that's what that Miriam cop said yesterday. She rang me up and says, is there any way you can help getting him put in, assessed or something? And I said, I'm in fucking Auckland.
yeah, yeah. She even spoke to you. She never spoke. She mentioned something about Mark, and I never actually said it. I thought, well, how the hell do you know about him? It went through my mind, but I didn't know. Anyway, I better go and get the car so you ain't going to be out at 9 o'clock. Catch you later.
Okay, give me a call and see how you are.
See you later. Yeah.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
The police took his walking stick obviously for evidence, so didn't really leave him too well, but what they did do is they left a vulnerable adult, severely disabled, that requires sort of round the clock attention, alone. My father was that distressed over what had gone on and the cops coming and everything. He doesn't like the cops, thinks they're New Zealand's biggest gang, and I've got a tendency to agree with him. And yeah, this is what disgusted Miriam, I'm guessing, from her behaviour. Now, the interesting bit is that what I'm getting told by police is far from the truth. I've seen the summary of facts. There's errors there. My father's got no criminal record, nothing. From 30 years ago, perhaps a DIC, and that's about it. So, you know, that's absolute, you know, he's panicking because he's not been through or knows anything about it, and I'm telling him to calm down, all's well. But he's been in hospital with severe blood poisoning. When they took Mum away and left Dad unattended, my sister came around the next morning and he pretty much slept that whole day. And then the following day he took a turn for the worse. My sister, being pretty well trained in first aid, instantly called for an ambulance, which is what we've told our mother to do numerous times. And yeah, instantly the ambulance took him and he's been in hospital ever since. So hopefully he'll recover, but of course with all of the stress and very difficult to move around, he's 130 kilos, so he's no small chap. Yeah, it's just causing far more distress than what's needed. My mother would rather the police just drop the incident, but no, it's the police bringing the charges, so we'll see what happens. But first call hearing is on the 22nd, to which he simply only needs to file a memorandum of appearance. He doesn't have to go there, it's just to have a formal plea entered. And now we've got lawyers trying to say, oh, we'll adjourn it, you know, so they can string it out and get a bit more legal aid if they want, in my humble opinion anyway. So yeah, bit of a shitstorm. It's not something you really want to happen during Christmas time, but I'm going down there shortly to see what I can do to help in any way, shape or form, and make sure that nothing untoward goes on or any more problems happen. There are a few other issues which I won't go into, which are kind of private, but I'm just absolutely disgusted that these officers chose to leave a vulnerable adult alone in a house without any support. Yeah, 2 days later he's in hospital with blood poisoning. Yeah, the doctors have a little bit of answering to do too in regards to that. So yeah, not good all round. But I want you guys to listen to the call. You can hear how Miriam's tone is, I'm also going to be uploading their code of conduct too, or at least their little pamphlet about it, and I'm going to be filing an OIA to the police asking them what the rules are around leaving a vulnerable adult by themselves without any care. And given that my father asked them repeatedly to please call an ambulance, he was having trouble breathing when they were there, and they flat out refused, didn't do it, and left him unattended for the night, which was just disgusting. I've actually just heard today through the grapevine that it's not apparently the first time the police do this. Apparently some chap up north was arrested, the police locked him up, he was a bit of a simple fella, and just left the house unlocked with a baby all by itself all bloody night. So I would have thought it's common bloody sense that they have a duty or an obligation to ensure everyone is safe, regardless of whether or not they're the offender or the complainant or anything. They still have a duty, which they sadly fucked up in this case. I'm going to be making a complaint to the Police Complaints Authority, and also to the the Police Conduct Authority, the IPCA, secondly. Reason being is once you file something to the IPCA that's now with an independent statutory body, and it doesn't actually have to comply with any Official Information Act request, that and because it's usually under investigation at the time, so they won't tell you anything. However, if you file your complaint at any police station for any reason, and the police have to accept and take that complaint, if they don't, they're also breaching their own policies as well, so it's just another issue they want to stack on top. But if you file it through the police, then you can do an OIA request in regards to the matter. They might say, well, look, we've forwarded it to the IPCA. That's got nothing to do with you because you are the one dealing with the police, not the IPCA. So that's always the first step before going on to the next one. Do both. Absolutely no reason why not. These sorts of things need to get sorted out, and yeah, I certainly didn't appreciate Miriam's what seems to be biased attitude towards my father. Granted, he's not the nicest fella to get along with. He can be grumpy, but I mean, he's got good cause to be the state he is too, because it would appear there's a little bit of neglect going on there for some time. So yeah, sort it all out. I hope you guys all have a great Christmas. To the couple of people that have given me donations, thank you very much. That is always appreciated, and it just helps so much. I am getting a bit of grief from the trolls. Usually I don't feed them. These days I just report them and block them. But yeah, it's amazing how people will constantly either attack me or the person that I'm doing the video about, because they can't argue with the facts that are being presented. So what do? Attack the messenger. I consider all flack like that a badge of honour, quite frankly. So anyway, looking forward to going down to Timaru and having some conversations with some senior officers. Apparently on my record I'm not allowed to speak to just a lowly constable, because I try and make them uneducated and unprofessional, although all I do is capture it. So we'll see how we go on that one. It's well after 1 o'clock in the morning, so I'm getting pretty knackered. Catch you later, guys. Thank you all very much, and have a good evening. See ya.